Hey Zach, have you ever heard of Fallout 4?
Well, let me tell you.
Okay, and we're back, my peeps, here with Stickman Gaming,
Hola.
and we're talking about Fallout 4. We're gonna get straight to it this time, that way we're not messing around. Uh, Fallout 4, we're gonna talk about the gameplay and a little bit of the backstory, so we'll start with the backstory first. It is set in around the 2200s, so in the future, but it's got like this cool 1950s kind of
It's
vibe.
the late 2200s, by the way. Like it's like the
Yeah, late 2200s, like
2290s.
somewhere in the mid, almost to the 300s.
Yeah, very close.
And correct me if I'm wrong on that in the comments. We tried to find it, but we couldn't find the exact date, and I don't know if they revealed exactly when Fallout 4 is taking place. But
Now, before we
that's what
actually
we
get to the
think it's
before we actually
around.
get to the backstory, really quick, just a few things to mention is that Fallout 4, the definitive release date, at least as of the time of recording this, is November 10th, 2015, and it is developed and published by Bethesda Softworks, which means that Obsidian has been completely dropped from the development process, probably to work on the new South Park game, The Fractured But Whole,
Yeah.
because they're working on they did the Stick of Truth, so
Mhm.
they might be working on that.
All right.
Anyway, backstory time.
And so in this game, we see in the demo that it started out, and you get to go and create your character. And you like there's this cool character creation system. It's really in depth.
It, it,
Looks much cleaner, much nicer.
it reminds me of
Uh,
The Sims almost. Rather than having sliders, it's just kind of like you grab and you just like slide, like instead of
yeah,
having a series of
I like that
sliders.
new system. That's
Yeah,
really
like you
nice.
just
It's
kind of
really
like
nice
grab the
looking.
face and then you can just like pull it around and make it look the way you want to.
Yeah, because that's how I always felt. I've always felt like if I could just grab and move stuff, like it'd be so much easier to get everything down. So that's just part of the character creation system, and then you go out and you're gonna see after you created your character, and you can be a male or female.
It starts off in
You
pre-war, which means that like everything is still very pristine and shiny and all that.
yes.
And
This is before the Fallout.
one really cool fact is that I think that during the E3 presentation for Fallout 4, uh, like when the Mr. Handybot came out, like the floating sphere robot with all the arms and all that, when it
Mhm.
said the baby's name as Sean, like it actually said the name Sean. They mentioned that it's not like that just like for the demo to make it seem more impressive. They actually stated like they like did voice acting for that character for like 2,000 of the most common names,
Oh
so that
wow,
he'll actually say the name of the baby.
that's crazy.
Oh
That's pretty
yeah,
cool
that's
though.
and
Uh,
speaking of, the voice acting is absolutely phenomenal from what we've seen so far.
mhm.
Very high
Okay.
quality.
So when we're looking into the gameplay aspects, one of your little companions you meet pretty early on, I think, his name is Dogmeat. He's a little dog.
Well, you name him yourself, but like I think
He's
it's a
like
nod to
pre-named.
It's a Fallout 3 character named Dogmeat.
Yeah.
And I think they named him that for the demo as a cameo or a nod. But I'm pretty sure that you actually give him your own, like the name that you choose.
Yeah, but just for like, they just call him Dogmeat, which is just like his general name. Kind of like most characters in the stories. If you make your own character, they usually have like a general name for them. And he'll be like your companion. He has been confirmed to not die. Dogmeat will not die throughout the
Never ever,
story.
never ever,
And yes, and
never
forever
ever
he
ever
will
ever
live.
ever
He
ever.
is immortal. Uh, he is forever living on in the Fallout world. And there is so there's some cool stuff they added this time. They got these like really cool dynamic dialogue systems, so that like
Yeah,
you get to like actually choose pretty well about what you want to say and how you want to say it, basically. And I'm pretty sure like these can affect the story depending on what you choose, right?
yeah, I'm pretty sure. Like it's the dialogue. It looks a lot more like the Mass Effect or the Dragon Age sort of system, where it's instead of having like in Fallout 3 and New Vegas, the two more recent generation Fallout games, like of the first person variety rather than the top down tactical of Fallout 1 and 2. Uh, Rather than having just like a text box appear and you choose and there's no voice acting for your actual character himself or herself, it's gonna have like the circle and it has all the dialogue options, and
Mm-hmm.
then your character actually has the voice acting.
Yeah, and so basically it's kind of like I don't think it affects as much as Mass Effect because I'm pretty sure Mass Effect has you get to do really big changes. I'm pretty
Oh
sure it's
yeah.
like probably an in between like kind of like Fire Emblem. They have some choices where it really doesn't matter which one you choose because either way it's gonna come out about the same.
Like the Mass
But
Effect 3 ending, you literally just choose what color of explosion you want to happen.
so then it would probably just be it would probably be a difference in like just probably somewhere in between there.
Yeah.
And then there's this really cool in-depth crafting system that they have,
Yeah,
and
there's gonna be apparently there's gonna be a lot less weapons in the game, but there's gonna be a lot of mods and
yeah,
variations to
yeah,
each weapon.
because this includes every single lootable item in the game,
Oh
and
yeah.
there's over 50 base guns and over 700 modifications. So
So
that's a
like
lot of stuff to be messing with.
so I'm
It's
glad that
pretty
they're actually doing that
ridiculous.
because like rather than being like Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas where you can pick up a lot of things and use them as weapons, but they're just kind of useless. Like you can pick up like a knife, like a switchblade or something like that, and
Hmm.
it's absolute garbage, so you'd never use it.
Yeah, so
It's
then you
better
can
that
start
they're
upgrading it and get it better and find stuff
yeah,
to
like
craft to put it. Oh, and
yeah.
talking
So
about
now
crafting, they
now
do have a
all of these
crafting
weapons,
system.
now all of these like useless things that you would find around actually have a better use.
Yeah, well, the crafting system is this. Sorry, so you could use other things you find around in the world to help with this, and but talking about kind of crafting and stuff, there is base building this time, so you do get to make your own base and things.
Oh
You can
yeah.
actually deconstruct the world around you, like other buildings, to build onto your base, and you can also towns can like be hooked up with like power systems and stuff, and power this
And you can
dynamic
have
power
like
line
you can
system,
have
so you can actually like put electricity into everything, and
and you can
that is
also have
also goes into your
you can
base.
have caravans that go in between bases and all that, and those can
Hmm.
be attacked by raiders, and your base can be attacked by raiders. So you
Yeah,
like it starts like uh, spontaneous quests where you have to defend.
yeah, and plus you can build onto some structures and items in the game, which is pretty cool. So you can kind of add on, make it kind of your own world. And also the whole game is just a big sandbox, open roam. Like, and you can leave and exit any conversation anytime, and you can go wherever you want at any time. It's just open for that.
And
And
there was a thing in Fallout 3 that they mostly took out of Fallout New Vegas. The way that I heard it described the simplest was they called it an essential tag. And I don't know if you've ever played a lot of Bethesda games, but like when you try to kill certain characters, then they just kind of fall over and it says that they're unconscious and then they get back up. Um, so uh, in Fallout, like they had a lot of people that had that tag in Fallout 3, and then in New Vegas, there was only one character in the whole entire game that was like that. And
mhm.
when they said at the E3 demo that you can even leave a conversation and shoot the person in the face for no reason, it made me think that like it's gonna make it so that most enemy like NPCs or just most NPCs in the world in general are
Can
not
be
gonna
best
have the
with.
essential tag.
Yeah. So another thing that's essential to like you as a character is your Pit Boy, which has been a standardized thing through the games.
Oh yeah,
But this time, you actually like when you pull it up, he actually just looks at his watch, which I think is pretty cool. It's just kind of like he's actually looking at it in real time. And
you can move it
this can
around,
be
which seems
used
kind
to
of
level up.
useless.
Yeah, this is used to level up like your stats and stuff, and look at your items and other
It's your
things.
inventory, like it is your
Yeah, it's your
everything.
inventory. It's basically your pause screen in most games,
Uh,
and for RPGs anyway.
yeah,
And this is going to be used. There's the stat system they got in here is called special, which is basically stands for 7 different things, which is strength, perception,
perception,
endurance,
endurance,
charisma, intelligence, agility, and luck. And those things can be leveled up over a period of time. So every time you level up, you get stat points, and you can put those into those different sections. And whenever you level up, you get a new ability. And leveling, putting different stats in different sections. So like if I put a stat in strength, I might get a new ability for strength, and then when I level up, I'll get that new ability.
and a lot of
And
speculation has been going around lately that like ever since the full gameplay trailer,
mhm,
uh, that they've taken out like because in Fallout 3 New Vegas, when you level up, you can get a special point, and then you would also get like a certain number of skill points that you put into like a bunch of different skills like small guns, repair, melee
mhm,
weapons, and people have
mhm,
been thinking that they've taken out the skill points because like
yeah,
they've taken some of those things and they've stuffed them into the special stats.
yeah. I think that's probably what they're gonna do here, just to make it a little bit simpler for everybody.
Yeah, making it
And
more making it more just like pick up and playable game without having to
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
all of the RPG things.
Yeah, not getting it too complicated. Okay, so and there's another little gameplay element here that they've added. It's kind of like what they had before, but it's different this time. They're called VATs, and basically what it does
Vault
is
aiming.
it's like real time. Instead of like
Where is
pausing
it?
and stopping like while you're playing, it actually like slows everything down, and you can like see different points on the person, like the monster or the human you're shooting at, and you can actually see like where you can shoot. So for instance, if you shoot the head, you might be able to blind or just get like an instant headshot. Or if you do like if you shoot like their legs, you can get them move slower.
You can shoot
Or
their
maybe
guns
if you
and
want
their
to
weapons and all that, and you can
yeah,
break
if
them
you
or
shoot
knock
their
them out of their
guns,
hands.
then you can like disarm the enemies, and so that way you can have a maybe if you're dying quickly, you might want to shoot them real quick, so that way you have a better chance to like heal or something. And also, but this does take like a requiring like recharging after you've used
Yeah.
it, so you can't just like
AP.
just like continually use it over and over again.
Yeah.
But also they have this new split piece armor system. Well, I don't know if it's new, but they do have the split piece armor system inside of Fallout 4, where basically what that means is that you could equip different things. So like gloves and shirts are different from each other. It's not like one set.
Yeah, I've kind of been torn between whether I like that or not, because it makes it like simpler and everything looks more uniform, but it also takes a lot of the customization when you have it all like a unibody.
Oh no, it's
Armor
not a
set.
unibody. Like it's split.
I know, like I'm saying, like in Dragon Age
Like
Inquisition,
you're
'cause I've been playing that
confusing.
game like a ton lately. Like that's only
Oh
got like you choose like your full armor set and then your helmet,
yeah,
and
yeah.
like that makes everything look like aesthetically better.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Well, it
in
depends. I
terms
mean,
of
I think
like
if you got a good art style going, you can kind of get things
yeah,
fitting together good.
and Dragon Age Inquisition does that,
It just
but
depends on
we're
the
talking
game.
about Fallout.
But okay, so just to get this rolling a little bit more, the other thing that's kind of like the split piece armor system and armor you can customize is the power armor you got. So
Oh
this
my
is the
god,
thing
the
that you
power
see.
armor is sexy.
This is what you see on the front of the box most of the time. It's that guy in the stormtrooper looking armor.
It's the Brotherhood of Steel. Like, learn your Fallout lore, bro.
Well, this is why you're here to
But
correct me.
I really like that.
But wait,
They when
before
they
we
showed
start with
the
that,
when they showed the clip of the actual playable character getting into the power armor. In other games, it was just like other armor where like you put it on and then it's just a suit of armor that you wear. But
Mhm.
now, like the animation is very akin to that of getting into a silverback in the Gears of War series. If you've ever seen that, where like you open it up from the back and you like climb in and like line up your arms and all that, and then it
Mhm.
closes behind you. And like now it's actually like a very cool mechanic is that like you get different like parts from the different tiers and like
Yeah. Let me go a little
upgrades.
bit into that real quick before you go a little bit ahead of what I was trying to say. But the power armor, they're making it more like a vehicle this time than just an equipable suit.
Yeah.
So it's more powered up and more seeming like, because it also goes into you can see this third person view when you. I'm pretty sure it goes into the third person view when you use it, right?
In all of the Bethesda like RPG games, like the Elder Scrolls series and the Fallout games, it's always just like the ability to like switch in and out of third person and first person.
Okay,
Like,
for when I saw the trailers, it was the power suit was always in third person, so I didn't know if it switched into it or not.
I think there was
But
actually a clip where like
but
when
the
he
whole
was running
thing
around
this
the
time,
streets.
the power suit is customizable,
Oh yeah.
and so you are able to like change the armor and change the look, and you can add things like a jetpack or like different things like that to change more to how you want it.
And one thing that I don't think a lot of people notice is that like I'm I'm almost positive this is actually a thing where like if you have like a newer model of the power armor helmet, then it makes like the heads up display while you're using it like more high tech and clean looking.
Oh, that's
And
cool.
if you're using an older one, like the actual like aesthetic display looks like rusty and all that. So that's just a really cool level of detail.
Oh yeah. They one thing about the detail, I love the character's design and I love the map design. It's just the two haven't. I don't know if anyone else knows this. They just don't really seem to blend very well. I'm sure after playing it for a while, I'll probably be used to it. But these characters are kind of got like these more kind of like cartoonish look to them. but like they're
Yeah.
detailed, but they're just kind of cartoonish looking.
Really
And-
smooth.
And their appearance, very smooth, very not very rigid or like rough
Dragon
looking.
Age 2.
Yeah. Okay.
I know I'm missing a lot of Dragon Age, but I play a lot of Dragon Age. I'm probably going to get stabbed in the face for this, but I think that Dragon Age is better than Skyrim.
Well, anyway, just to not get too topical before we finish this off, this was basically our whole discussion. But let's just real quick, Zach, we'll get a little discussion here of anything you're excited about for the game.
All of
something,
it.
all of it. Anything
like,
specifically that you think you want in the game that you haven't seen or
I
anything
feel
like
like a really cool like wish list, I guess you could say, is that one thing that I want is, like I said, like the very rare essential tag, because I've seen a lot of playthroughs on the YouTubes where people will do like a kill everything run where like anytime they see a living thing they have to kill it, otherwise they fail. And on the contrary to that, there was another thing like in Fallout New Vegas, a thing that they really pushed is player freedom. So you could play that game and kill everything that moves. And another thing that you could do, which was like a really cool way to play the game, while being albeit a little bit boring, is you could play through the game and not kill a single thing, and you could still beat the game perfectly fine. So I feel like that would be a really cool thing to add a lot more variety. And
yeah.
the last thing is just a little bit more like dip into the backstory of the game. Like obviously for the first time in the games, in the series, in the franchise, we get like a gameplay peek into the pre-war era.
Yeah.
And I feel like seeing more of that, as well as like what always fascinated me was that all of the vaults, if you didn't know, like there was 120 vaults created, and they all contained a social experiment.
Yes.
Like there was one that contained like 99 men and 1 woman,
Yes.
and then another that contained 99 women and 1 man.
Yeah.
And like they were all just like different experiments to see how people would react. So like learning more about all of that stuff would
It's really
also
cool, yeah.
put a smile on
Especially
my
when
face.
you get to explore the world and see those things, seeing
yeah.
all the different places and how they've connected and reconnecting it just back to the lore,
Like,
which is great because
one
all of
thing that
Bethesda games are like that. They have that really deep lore. Like if you go into Skyrim, you could just sit there and probably read
my
books
God, Skyrim.
for years
The God game.
because they have so many things like you
Like-
could just go and do. And like in this game, I'm imagining they got the same stuff. Got like the other Fallout games, you could just go pick up things and get into the lore, get into the game, just really, really deeply.
Like I remember like what originally got me like browsing the wiki pages about all the vaults was like, I don't remember if it was Fallout 3 or New Vegas, but like I walked into a vault to get a unique weapon, because that's another thing I hope that returns is like the unique like weapons and armor sets that are like extremely powerful variations of the other weapons that are like very rare and hard to find.
Yeah.
But I walked in there and like there were a bunch of enemies in this place, but they were all named Gary and then a number. Like there was Gary 42 and then there was Gary like 60 something, like Gary 75 and all that. And I was like, what's the deal with this? And then I actually looked up the lore, and it turns out that social experiment was it was one guy in the vault,
Yeah.
as well as like a few doctors and like a cloning device.
Oh yeah, and he kept cloning himself. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
the fact
so-
that you could go
but
through
that-
the game and you could have nothing to do with all of that lore, and you could just play the game
Yeah.
as a wasteland wandering sociopath that likes to shoot everything with laser beams, or you could play it as a person that's like legitimately exploring, like
Yeah, and like
you know,
really looking
you're
into what's
Indiana
happening.
Jonesing all of these vaults, like exploring every nook and cranny, trying to find the lost ark or whatever.
Well, I'm going to have to cut you off there, Zach, but we're getting to the end here. So thank you for watching, and I hope you learned a little bit about Fallout 4.
Expect Star Wars Battlefront coming soon.
Most likely, we'll probably do that for the next Blake Explains. Do put in the comments for future Blake Explains of something you'd like for me to explain, and I'll try my best to make it simple and easy to understand. Hopefully. And thank you for watching. And if you want to go check
Thanks.
out Zach's channel, it's Stickman Gaming. I'll put the link in the description. Also, go follow my Twitter if you want to, get the latest update on when these videos are coming out. Yeah, thank you. See you later, my peeps.
Bye.
Say bye. Yeah, bye.